I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video we are doing an unboxing. I recently purchased all 3 palettes from the new Oden's eye collection. I believe this is the legendary Diversa collab, and look at this here, honey. They decorated the box with the collaborators, and I think this is absolutely stunning. Normally I would have been tossed the packaging box, but I'm like, she might be a work of art on her own, so I had to hold on to her for now. But I'm telling you, I'm wearing one of the palettes right now. I'm not going to tell y'all which one it is. If you think you know which one it is, before we get started, leave me a comment down below, and I'm telling you, I'm going to respond and let you know if you got it right. So don't be trying to peek and skip forward and see which one it was. But in my last video, which I'll leave linked right here above, I'll let you all vote on which palette you wanted to see next, and the winning palette is the one I'm wearing. But in today's video, I did do a true unboxing of all 3 palettes and swatches of all 3, just in case we don't get to the other ones and you all wanted to see exactly what they look like. And I'm here to spill a little tea, but I ain't gonna tell it all. The swatches on these palettes were beautiful. They far exceeded what I thought they were gonna be. And a lot of times you see colors online and you think, okay, that palette looks like this and that's my color story, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one and I'm not gonna grab that one. I was totally thrown off. When I finally seen the swatches, the palettes that I thought was gonna be my favorites and what I thought was cute ended up being completely different. But if you all would like to see swatches of all 3 palettes as well as see the tutorial on the palette that I'm wearing right now, just make sure you continue to watch. You guys do not know how excited I am to get this package open. This is my very first purchase from Oden's Eye, honey. And when I tell you, every time I see someone on YouTube do a tutorial with their palettes, everything always looks absolutely stunning. But I'm that person who, I'm like, trying new brands is fun. But when I think of the fact I'm purchasing from a brand that's international and more than likely don't have a refund policy, it's like, if I get it and don't like it, now I'm stuck with a bad product and a bad opinion. But don't nothing get to me like a collab. So I'm like, baby, y'all drop 3 collabs, 1 collection at the same time. I had to get it. And although I've opened the original box that it came in, this package here was inside of that box. I have not touched it because I wanted to do this online with you all. And just this box alone, honey, just this box alone is absolutely beautiful. I did do a little more, research since then, but I haven't watched any reveal videos or anything like that because I wanted to make sure when I saw this for the first time, it was going to be a true shocker. What I do know for sure is this one here is Tina. I already knew that. I already knew Tina had the Hummingbird collection. I think this one is called the Great Wolves or the Big Wolves. This is what Annette. I already knew who Annette was, but when I first got it, I couldn't quite remember her name. I'm telling you, Annette, that 10 looks 1 video challenge that she be doing, I could never. Found out this here is Judy. Not gonna lie to y'all, I didn't know who Judy was. Don't watch her channel. But because she was part of the collection, I'm like, Torrence, you can't go in and just get 1 or the 2, honey. All 3 ladies done did a fabulous job, so you had to go in and get them all. So let's go ahead and get into this, because baby, I've been tagged and I want to open this up and see what we got going on. So, Tina, Annette, Judy, congratulations, but let's see what she looks like on the inside. Okay, we have a card here. We got some bubble wrap. So that is absolutely beautiful, and you all know I collect these little cards and things, so I'm going to put this to the side and make sure she don't get damaged. On the inside, it seems like most things are bubble wrapped here. I believe these are the palettes, but down here in the bottom, honey, that's what really got me. It came with 3 different stars, but we're going to get to those last. First off, this palette, baby, they made sure they put bubble wrap on it. First set of bubble wrap is one thing. This second set that is pink and shaped like hearts, honey, I have never seen anything like that in my life. Heart-shaped bubble wrap. Get into it. I'm definitely saving this one piece, if nothing else. And all three palettes are individually wrapped in regular bubble wrap. First up, we have the Annette palette. It appears these are they sealed? Yes, baby. Oden's Eye is not playing. First off, let's get into this. This is the Giant Wolves palette. Baby. And these things are individually sealed. So I got to find where does that come off at. Baby, they make sure you get you a brand new fresh palette. Ain't nobody gonna be touching your stuff. So just because I got to get into this real fast, real quick. Oh, and it even comes in a slip card. Okay, so baby, the packaging has the same decoration as the container come through. The back has the shade names. We have 12 different shades here. It says it has a net weight of 13 grams, made in China. So, and it also says cruelty free with a shelf life of 36 months. Then we get inside. We do have a mirror, but I want to make sure I cover that. And this are our 12 shades, honey. Later on, I'm going to give you a close-up view. I just want to show you what everything looks like, and we're going to get them open. Look at that. This one here appears to have more, I would say, blues, greens, and purples. It's a mix of the three. I would personally consider this a much more cool tone palette, so I am loving her. Just looking at it, it does look from here to be about 5 different shimmer shades, those 4 in the middle. Then that lightest shade is also shimmer, but I'm telling you, she is stunning. The packaging on these, it's beautiful. It has a textured front to it. And I'm telling you, these are beautiful. I was about to say, I don't have anything bad to say, but it's like, what could you say about a beautiful collab? I'm gonna put her back in her slip here just to put her to the side, but I'm gonna show y'all what these other two look like. Next up, we have the Red Dragon. Yes, ma'am, I wanna hurry up and get you open. I'm telling y'all, if anybody knows how to do some decorations, Oden's Eye is not playing with you. It's just off rip. Let me just say this because I don't know. Let's say the formula on these are absolute trash. I'm still keeping them just to make sure I can show off to the world because the packaging on these are beautiful. Took the slip off the Red Dragon one. It appears to say the same thing, 36 months shelf life, cruelty free and everything. But look at that here. Look at that Red Dragon. Baby, she is absolutely stunning. And with this one here, she's, I'm gonna say, warm neutral, and it looks like she has a pop of green. This one has your oranges, your reds, and it also has a slight pop of green. Let me cover this mirror because I don't want to blind you all. And look at that one. Baby. I think if you are someone who really likes warm tone shadows, this may be the one for you. I personally prefer reds over oranges, so this is going to be a shock and something different for me because when I sit back and think, it's like, Torrence, have you ever done a red and green look together? And I don't think so. So I'm like, okay, Judy, you done brought something new to me. I'm like, okay, we're going to add you to the collection. Last up, this one here is the third and final palette in the collection. This is the Hummingbird one. I'm telling y'all, if I could only pick one, this would have easily been it. I have been watching Tina's channel for many years. I'm not going to say, you know, I'm a loyal subscriber. I watch every single video. It's not like that. But if I could ever swatch glitters and pigments with somebody on YouTube, I think Tina would have to go ahead and cough up that collection because, baby, her MAC pigment collection is top tier for me. I wish I had that many. But this here, I'm just looking at it like, oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. The fact that she named it Hummingbird, I don't know if you all know, but hummingbirds are my favorite animal. So knowing Tina was my favorite influencer of the three, knowing Hummingbird is my favorite animal, and you already know, I love me a green palette, but when I sit back and look at this, like, oh my goodness. If Tina did not do her thing with this one. Look. Look at the colors on this, sis. Oh my goodness. You talking about greens, you talking about purples, you talking about blues. It's just fabulous. And I cannot believe that they took the time and energy to create something this beautiful. I'm talking about the packaging had to take time, this color story had to take time, the fact that everybody has their own picture on there. It is amazing, but if you know anything about me, honey, I love feeling bougie, and it's very few things that I play with like I do with my scars, honey. I like scars for my hair. I like scars for my bag. I'm somebody who can't afford a Birkin. I'm going to let you know that. I don't have Birkin money. But one of the cutest things that I've ever seen is when they take their Birkin bags and wrap the handles with silk scarves so they don't mess up the handles. I was like, oh, I got to get into it. Once again, I can't afford Birkins, but I do have me some Loungefly mini book bags, and I carry those as makeup bags. If y'all want me to do a video on those, just leave me a comment down below. But I'm telling y'all, these scarves that they did, you get one free scarf per bag that you purchase, and it matches the decals here. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, honey. I'm not about to open these just yet. I cannot risk these getting damaged, but to know, oh, honey, and speaking of rude, I'm in the middle of recording and my camera just decides to shut off, don't give me no heads up or nothing. And I don't know exactly where it cut me off at, but we're gonna backtrack a little bit and hope we back on focus. I believe I've already shown you all the eyeshadows on the inside. The next thing that came in here was, to me, the most exciting part as well as the most disappointing part. Because I am someone who loves spending money, but I don't have Birkin bag level money. I love my makeup, y'all know that. And for me, most traditional makeup carrying bags and things like that are just downright ugly for just regular carrying use. They're more effective for makeup artists. So I like to carry my makeup in Loungefly mini book bags. It's not quite as feminine as a purse, but it's a little prettier and a little better than a makeup bag. And because the very first time I seen a Birkin in person, someone had a scarf wrapped around it and it makes sure that they didn't damage the handle, I thought that was the cutest thing ever. Once again, because I can't afford a Birkin, I'm like, Torrence, you can find you some scarves for your Loungefly bags and carry them like that and still feel just as bougie, but save yourself over 10 grand. So, imagine how I felt when they said every palette comes with a free scarf. I'm like, oh, baby, it's taking everything in me, because I'm telling y'all, I don't even want to open these scarves, but because I love y'all, we're going to go ahead and do it. But I'm telling you, I'm making sure I put them right back, and before I show y'all these swatches, we're going to make sure they put up. Normally, I would not have opened these, and I was really hoping that you could buy them individually, but they made sure these were a free gift for purchase. You could not go in and just buy these by themselves, because I would have a backup. So for the Giant Wolves palette, we have a scarf from Annette, honey. And I'm sitting back like, oh, look at how cute she is, baby. I cannot wait to decorate my bags with these. Look at this. I want to see if I can step back a little bit so y'all can see the whole scarf, honey. Look at that. It has the artwork of the palette on it, honey. I cannot believe it. She is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. And I just told y'all that fast, I'm not going to mess it up. I'm not going to do this. Now I'm sitting here looking all scary and stuff because I don't want to mess her up. Next up we have the Judy scarf for the Red Dragon. And I'm telling you all, I'm looking over at my scarf. I'm like, I have several Mickey Mouse bags that easily go with red, but I got this blue and red Dragon Ball Z bag. Oh my goodness, look at this. Tell me this is not pretty, and look at the way those flames just, oh. Baby, I'm going to be feeling my bougie self when I wrap this around one of my bag handles. It is going down. Let go. And tell me she is not too adorable. Look at this little hummingbird, honey. It's one on that side and on this side. It's like, I got to hurry up and open this. I'm telling y'all, it is going to take everything for me not to buy a whole nother palette just because I want another scarf. But I'm like, Torrence, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But look at it, look at it. And look at how she got her arm turning into one of the hummingbirds. It's like, sis, look at this. She is so adorable, honey. And I'm sitting back looking like, oh my God, like, just based off the yellow, I think the one I would probably put this the most with is probably my Goofy movie bags. I got a Powerline one and a, what is they dang on names? Max and Roxanne. I think this might go with those, but I'm sitting back like, oh. But I'm telling y'all, I'm about to hurry up, fold this back up, put it away before I do these swatches because I refuse to get glitter, shimmer, or particles on this at all. But I'll be right back to show y'all these swatches. And before we got into the tutorials, I wanted to make sure I give you a close-up view of the palettes as well as swatches. This first one is the Giant Wolves palette by Annette. Personally, for me, I think this one will probably bring the most attention just because anytime I wear the color purples, it seems like I can stop a crowd. There's no denying that greens are my favorite, but blues and purples always seem to catch the crowd's attention, and it always seems to be you guys' favorite color whenever I wear it. So this here is definitely going to be a stunner. And I wanted to make sure I also covered the mirror so I don't blind you all, but you can look at this and see. She is just a nice fairy tale dream. Dark jewel tones, but they're nice, beautiful, vibrant colors. I'm quite sure you can make many looks just doing shimmer looks across the lids, or you could take any of these mattes and use them alone. It seems like they are all deep enough to be used in the crease on any complexion, so I really can't wait to dig into this palette here. And here we have swatches of the Giant Wolves palette. When I tell you, I had no clue things were going to be this beautiful. The shimmers in this palette are beautiful. They are beautiful. Now let me tell you, the mattes are cute too, but it's something about the tone and the reflectiveness of these shimmers that are absolutely amazing. The only thing I could complain about, and it's just me being a negative Nancy, is that one, I did not realize these shadows had a scent when I first picked the palette up. But I did notice a very slight scent when I was swatching. And if I just had to say which shade swatched the worst, I would say it was shade number 8. I believe it's pronounced Hattie or Haiti. It's that shimmery purple in the middle. And it's just because that one did not swatch all the way down to the bottom like the other shades did. But this color story is beautiful. And I had no clue I would be able to get such a grungy green look from this palette. This palette here is the Red Dragon by Judy, and I am telling you all, the artwork on this one has gone above and beyond. Growing up, I thought dragons were beautiful and mystical creatures. I am someone who still to this day enjoys watching Dragon Ball Z, and 2 of my makeup bags that I have collected from Loungefly are Dragon Ball Z. So this is one of those palettes, the day I wear it, I'm definitely going to have to go ahead and put this on. And I really see me putting my scarf from this collection on one of those bags. And once we get to the inside, I must admit I am truly shocked. If you were to tell me that I was going to actually like a warm neutral palette that has some red orangey tones to it, I would have told you, no honey, you got to be kidding me. But that pop of green and purple in this palette really takes it to another level. I don't feel as if this is just going to be your basic warm sunset looking colors. It really seems as if there's more depth and dimension to this, so I can't wait to get cracking into this palette. But I'm not going to lie to y'all, the idea of putting red and green together has never crossed my mind. I know a lot of people consider those Christmas colors, but usually whenever I do greens, I'm going straight for a blue, a black, or a purple. So to have it mixed in here with a red is truly going to test my creativity. Okay, Judy, I see you, I see you, I see you. Now let me tell y'all here, when I first picked up this palette, I genuinely thought this would be my least favorite because I kept telling myself, oh, I don't do reds and oranges. But when you look at the swatches of this, the shades that I thought would just be some basic neutrals are stunning. Look at the reflective particles in that. Look at the green undertones in that. And if I just had to be negative, I'm telling you, this very first shade, it's a matte neutral shade that's right here. Because she blends into my skin tone, you may have a hard time seeing her, but that was the only shade that I see that did not swatch all the way down my arm. But the pigmentation on these, especially those vibrant shades, have me truly excited to hurry up and try this palette. She's neutral, but she is not basic like I thought she was, and she's not as orange as I thought she was, so I'm honestly excited to get into this palette as well. And the third palette in this collection will be the Hummingbird Palette. This one here is with Tina, and out of all of them, once again, this was the one I was most excited for. And this excited me for many reasons. The collaborator, the packaging, the color story, everything about this particular palette here seems to be my favorite just looking at it. But I can't wait to get in and see exactly what these swatches and this formula is like. But I'm telling you all, if nothing else ever happens, you can trust and believe this particular palette will be used for decoration in my makeup room. And look at that, honey. Oden's Eye and Tina did their thing. To know that there is a shimmery orange in this palette, and oranges is one of my least favorite eyeshadow colors, but I still find this beautiful and cohesive. Whether I want to go in with one of my green shades, which greens are my favorites, or I want to completely avoid the greens in this palette, I still believe I'm going to get a fabulous look. So I'm telling y'all, I'm about to hurry up and get these swatches up because baby, I am ready to dive in. Come on, honey, take me now because I am not ready. Look at the colors in this palette. When I first saw it, I was truly, truly drawn to the greens. But it's not until you actually see the swatches that you realize just how much blue and purple is in this. And I'm telling you, I think out of all of the palettes, this one has the most foiled shades. It does appear that they have two different types of shimmer shadows. One seems to be more metallic, one is more foiled. And if you were to look at like that purple and that orange, they look very flaky, but they're extremely creamy. They're extremely blinding, and I cannot wait to get one of those on the eye. But without any further ado, it's time to hurry up and jump into this tutorial. And before we get started, please leave me a comment down below letting me know if you know which palette won for the tutorial for this video. Alright you guys, it's time to jump into things. You've already seen swatches and close-up views. And not only was I most excited to use this palette because it was the color story that caught my eye the most, it was also the palette that got the most views from you all, and that palette will be the Hummingbird Palette, honey. This is the one with Tina. She goes by the Fancy Face. I'll make sure I leave her channel right here. And I'm telling you all, I cannot wait to get into this palette. So let's go ahead and get over with the talking and everything. Let me cover this mirror because I do not want to blind you all. Since this is a colorful palette, honey, ain't no time to sit back and go for the neutrals. I'm going for the color. So we're going to start things off with this shade here, Clear Blue, and our largest, fluffiest blending brush to use that as a transition shade. And I already know I'm not the biggest fan of pastels, so I'm going to load my brush up because I need pigmentation, honey. Although she is going to be a transition shade, I need her to show up. So we're going to start off here on the outer crease, go in, and even though I'm not a fan of pastels, even before I get through blending, you can see that color there. She pastel, but baby, she shows up. And that's what we need for a good transition shade. I'm like, baby, you may not be my preference, but as long as you work, we gonna work with you. And just to make sure I can see exactly how well this builds and blends, I am going to do a second layer. And I'm like, baby, you can tell this is a shade I would have never picked for myself. But because there are deeper colors in here, this is going to help diffuse those beautifully. And you can see how fast I blended that out. We're going to go in and just pick up the kick up in the pan. Not going to dust my brush off. I'm going to just go straight in one more time. And I do got some fallout on my nose, but then again, I did load my brush up, didn't tap it off or anything. And you can see that second layer built up even more because that color is popping. Right now, she's looking a little ashy, she's looking a little dead. But I promise y'all, we're going to help bring some life to this color. And look at that, boo. That's what I be talking about. Just because a shade is pastel does not mean it can't be pigmented. You can truly tell something happened on this side that didn't go on over here, so I'll be right back after I make these two even. Although that transition shade was pigmented, we can't leave the house looking like this. So to add more color to our crease, we're going to go into this darker shade here called Lagoon, and we're going to use that with a smaller brush right inside the crease to give us more depth and dimension. Alrighty, first thing first that you notice with this shade Lagoon is it is way less powdery than that shade Clear Blue. This one comes off more like a cream to powder because it looks really creamy in the pan, so I'm expecting true pigmentation. The cream to powders usually worry me because they're a little harder to blend in powders, so let's go ahead and see what this is like. Go start in the outer half here, and baby, that blue came straight out the blue, honey, kicking and screaming. And yeah, I am noticing this is blending more like a cream to powder than a regular powder shadow. So to me, you're going to get much more pigmentation, but it's going to be slightly harder, in my opinion, to diffuse the edges. So we're going to take our time and make sure we go slow with this, but you can see just how deep and how blue that came off with one layer, honey. So we're going to lift our brush, diffuse those edges, and honestly, I'm really worried about going in and doing a second layer, because then I find it'll be a little bit harder to diffuse my edges with that. Because something tells me with this much opacity in one layer, 2 layers is going to truly take over. So we're going to just take our time and buff this up and out. Baby, she coming off peacock blue. They said this is the Hummingbird Palette, so baby, I guess a hummingbird is like a peacock, honey. She my favorite. She ain't as big, but she just as vibrant. Look at that. Be right back after we do this on the other side, because baby, I was not expecting that kind of color and that kind of vibrancy in one layer. And although I'm happy with the blend that we have here, I'm not 100% satisfied, so I'm going to go back with my original transition brush, no extra product, and we're just going to use this brush here to make sure we can buff out those edges. I just want to make sure things are as seamless as possible, and having this lighter color already in the brush, it'll make it easier to soften up those edges. This ain't got to be a 100%, you know, all the way up to the eyebrow seamless blend, but I just don't want that edge of that blue line to be quite as harsh as it is now. I just always like to make sure I'm trying my best to get a good blend. Baby, now that's what we're talking about. And as if this look isn't dramatic enough, I'm gonna go ahead and deepen up my crease with this shade here, Star Apple, and our smallest blending brush. Today, I'm going for all the drama. And I've loaded my brush up, and just because I'm not sure how pigmented this is, we're gonna just tap her off one time, because we can always come back for more. And we're gonna start right here on the outer edge and buff this in. Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did go in with that color. Give me a little more depth and dimension, honey. And because that first shade was already there and dark, honey, this shade builds up on top of it rather fast and rather easily. I want to make sure my main focus is diffusing the edges of that crease shade, because we want to keep that blend going. And just because I know I'm going to cut my crease, we're going to go ahead and do a second layer. Knocking off our brush again. Just keeping it as low as possible at first, then lifting your brush to diffuse those edges. Baby, we got some color going on here, and I can't wait to get to this lid shade. Okay, yes, you can see, baby, we got way more depth and dimension over here than on this side, so I'll be right back after I get these two even. Now it's time to take your favorite lid primer. I prefer a glitter adhesive, and I'm going to use this with my Morphe M421 brush to cut my crease, and we're going to go really high today. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. I got a big old dollop of it because I know I'm cutting high. Baby, ain't no doubt about it. You might as well get to spreading that. And you know what? Just because we extra today, we're going to go ahead and cut our crease in front of the lid. Yes, ma'am, we are. All the way to the back, from the front to the back. And I got a little extra product right there that I need to move out the way. I'm gonna have to cut that crease to that loop up. Alright, got that done. Be right back after I do this on the other side. Before we go in with lid shades, I want to go in and deepen up my outer V first. So we're going to go back into this palette with this shade here, Lagoon, on the outer V. Then we're going to deepen up the outer V with this shade here, Star Apple. And because we want to make sure we don't take up too much space on the lids, we're going to press this on the very, very outer point of the outer V. I want to save as much of that lid space as I possibly can. And so I'm not wasting none of my time going further than what hits when I first press this brush down. If you need more space than that, you might be in trouble today. And just because I want that depth from there, we're going to go ahead, press our brush on one side, and just sweep back. I just want to make sure the outermost point of my eye is the darkest. And I don't even have to cut or anything for this. This is going to be just a quick, simple step just to make sure we ain't lost depth and dimension. Just like that, honey. Now it's time for those lid shades. Baby, I'm just sitting back trying to figure out, like, okay, Torrence, what shades are we going to use? Because everything is looking beautiful. I think for the inner half, we're going to start off right here with the shade Fancy, just because she's looking pretty. Then for the center of the lid, we're going to switch things up and go to this shade here, Tropics. Then we're going to finish things off with the outer third of our lids with this shade here, Blue Fields. Alrighty, now that I have this shade Fancy here, honey, I just want to stare at the brush because she is so beautiful. But we got to put her on the lid, so let's go ahead. We're going to try to keep this to the inner third by pressing this where we cut our crease early and bringing it just up to the eye. Baby, she went on so fast with, I don't see any fallout or anything right there. And because she is looking sort of duochrome in the pan, you can see how when you just switch your eyes, she go from looking like almost like a pink to purple or a blue to purple. Honestly, it looked like it may even be some gold in that. Oh baby, let me hurry up and get this on the other side. I'll be right back. Now we got to go into Tropics. If you know me, you know greens are my favorites, and with this being the darkest green in the palette, I couldn't skip it this time. So I have it on the brush, but this shade was much more creamy and much softer to pick up than the shade Fancy, so let's see how she applies to the eye. We're going to put her right here on the side of that. Baby. When I tell y'all, Tina must have knew what colors I like, because this here is so pretty. At first, she looks almost like really, really dark, but it's once you get it on the eye that you realize she has a nice bright sheen to her. Y'all see how vibrant that is next to that purple. Oh yeah, honey. Be right back after I do this on the other side. Alright, you guys. I think this may be the color that drives you all crazy, because blue or purples always seems to do it for you all. So we're going to sit back and see how she blend over into this shade here. And let's see. Oh yeah. That blue did not come to play, sis. She is pigmented. And she is building over the edges of other colors beautifully. Normally I have to put in a little more elbow grease to buff that into a shimmer or a matte. This just did that on both sides really fast. Be right back after I do that on the other side. Okay, come through. Alright, you guys, this is all we have going on so far on the upper eyelids. I'm going to cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off the lower lash line. Honey, we are back, and I have to tell you about all the products that I used off camera. Because this eyeshadow palette is something new to my collection, I wanted to try to double and dabble in my collection and pick out some new things that I've never tried. And I'm like, you know what? Some of them were amazing, some of them weren't, so let's go ahead and get into it. First off, something that was beautiful, because we are using the Hummingbird palette, I'm like, okay, what blush resonates with a hummingbird the most to me? And it's this one here I've never tried. This is the Winky Lux Cheeky Rose Blush in the shade Crown. And I picked this up simply because he looks like a little flower. It comes in this little globe shape here, but once you pop her open, let me make sure I don't gouge this. A beautiful rose here, and I'm telling you, I have her on. She's stunning. She's beautiful, and the best part about this blush to me is the fact that it still has its shape after swirling it. I did it several times just to make sure that that embossing will not mess up, and he has it. I can look at her and tell that it has been used, but I truly believe that you'll get months of use of this before the decal is completely gone, and she's beautiful. The thing is, I wanted something nice and natural for a blush because I knew I was going to go over the top for the highlighter. Today, as you can see, baby, she got that nice soft purple hue going on. Let me see if you can see that shift going on. This is a dual chrome highlighter from Artist Couture. This is their Diamond Glow Powder in the shade Supernova. She has a nice, I'm going to say pink to purple dual chrome shift. Absolutely beautiful. I think the number one reason I never tried this one is because I would normally only wear purple highlighters with purple eyeshadow, but today I'm like, Torrence, we want to switch it up, and the fact that this was a dual chrome, it grabbed my attention that much more, so I'm like, she's nice and pretty, but I truly do think next time I will pair it with something that's purple. While we're still on the eyes, for the first time I'm trying the Sigma Beauty eyeliner pencil in the shade Indigo Bird. No ma'am. I came on here ready to let y'all know I have loved every single product I've ever got from Sigma except this. I remember grabbing it simply because it was on sale, and I'm like, Torrence, you've never tried their formula. Go ahead, and you know what? I see why she was on sale, because she is trash. When I swatched her on the back of my hand, it was pigmented, it was beautiful. Trying to get that to relay on the eyes, not happening. I wouldn't say that this is a dry pencil, but it's not as smooth and it doesn't glide across the skin as much as my Urban Decay was. And I'm like, okay, not being smooth is one thing, but it is patchy. I could not get one straight line going all the way across, no matter how many layers I did. And I had to go and look on the website like, wait a minute, I know Sigma cannot be putting stuff out like this. Check the website and you can't even buy it anymore. And you know what? I'm glad you can't, because I'm like, maybe he dry or something like that, but it's like, he's not cracking, he's not separated from the wood, he seems like a bad product, and unfortunately, I don't see me ever using this again. For mascara, I'm still using my Marc Jacobs at Lash Lifting and Volumizing Mascara. I've been using this for the past couple weeks just because I want to run through this. She's beautiful as always. For lips, I'm wearing a lip liner that I love. This is Straight Living from the Lip Bar. Absolutely beautiful, old favorite, nothing new about her. And for the gloss, it's new to me but not new to the brand. This is the Lunar Beauty Lip Gloss in the shade Celine. I believe I did a previous tutorial where I used the shade Dreamy. Absolutely love that one, so I'm like, Torrence. Even just the compact itself is absolutely stunning, but the formula is beautiful. Only lip liner and gloss going on, and you see she is popping, she is ready to step out, but we ain't through with these eyes yet, so we can't do so. So let me go ahead, grab my brushes, and see what we're going to do with this lower lash line. Because I want to try to use every matte shade that we have in the palette, I'm going to take my largest pencil brush in this shade here, Hibiscus, and smoke out my lower lash line. Then to give me more depth and dimension, we're going to take this shade here, Red Hills, with a smaller pencil brush and push that closer to the lashes. I made sure I tapped my brush off because this color looks pigmented, and I know this color doesn't necessarily go with the eye look we have on top, but I'm trying to use as many of these shades as we possibly can, so let's go ahead and see how she looks. I'm going to start right here on the outer end, and we're going to try to get that to connect. Baby, she is pigmented. I am so glad that we dusted off our brush, because we can always go back in and add more, but I am telling you, this shadow is way more pigmented than I expected, but she buffs and blends like a dream. I'm honestly don't think I'm gonna need that second layer, but just because we want to see what this pigmentation is like, we're gonna knock off our brush this time, start from the inner half, and work our way out. Baby, I thought that was just going to be a nice little soft shade you was barely going to be able to see. But I'm telling you, you can see that from across the room. Let me show you. Baby, look at that hibiscus shade. Let's hurry up and get this going on the other side of the eyes. Now, with this shade here, Red Hills, I wanted to use this just to go ahead and give me a little more depth and dimension. I want to load my brush up a little bit more. Tap off that excess. We're going to try to get this even closer and hope you can see that color build up on top of this one. So far, I'm going to say I can tell in person. I'm not sure if that's going to translate on camera. So we're going to do one more layer. Normally I would have gone in with that shade Star Apple, but we want to try to use as many shades as possible. She is deepening things up, but I want to see if you all can tell. Let me see if you can tell this side is darker. Yeah, it looks like you can tell on camera that this side is a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other side and I'll be right back. Because I'm wearing a purple highlighter, I had to go in with this purple shade here for the inner corner highlight. It's called Hummingbird, and with it being the name of the palette, we got to use this shade. And after we highlight our inner eye corner, we have to go in and do our brow bone, and for that we're going to be using this shade here, Beach Sands. Alright to you guys, we have this loaded on our brush, and this is one of those chunkier shades that to me will come off extremely full if you use a finger, but we're going to try our best with this brush first. We're going to go ahead, get the peeking right there and see. Baby, and she is still popping and beaming. I personally recommend pressing it in place before swiping, but yes ma'am. She ain't as bright as I would personally want her to be right there, but you know what, we can always go in and add something else on top of that. We may even go in with some of that Beach Sands right on top of it just to lighten her up a bit. But she's fabulous. I'll get a little more. I want to make sure that beam stand out. Yes, ma'am. To me, she's cute, but I still need to lighten her up. So we're going to knock our brush off. And while we still have Beach Sands here, I want to go in first and do this on the brow bone. And yeah, this is one of those sparkly shades too. So to me, she looks absolutely stunning on camera. But if you're not if you're not a fan of sparkly shades, you may not want to use this as a brow bone highlight because there is some reflective particles. But I think that's gonna come into my what do I want to say? That's gonna be to my benefit. I don't know how I was gonna word that, but we gotta switch it up now. Load this up. And because that inner corner purple is so dark, we're going to top her off with this shade here, Beach Sands. We don't want to completely erase that purple, but we need something else, yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's coming off a little bit brighter and a little bit better than just that purple on this side, which honestly can make things look a little darker in that inner corner. So let's go ahead and top her off with that Beach Sand. Because now it's nice and light and reflective from Beach Sands, but that purple still peeks through. That's what I'm talking about. Alright you guys, we're done with the plain makeup, so it's time to grab your sprays because you know I'm about to grab mine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All Nighter so things last all day. Cheap Fan, Expensive Breeze, Good Times. Gonna give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. Want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, honey, I love this palette. I love this palette. First off, I ain't never tried Oden's eye before, so this was a true first impressions. Baby, 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 let me tell you. The packaging was already stunning, so if nothing else, I was going to go ahead and make sure I kept this for that. Pull this back here just to make sure you don't get in the way. The thing is, y'all already know. I love my greens, so seeing greens in here got me excited. Blues and oranges, they not my favorites. So in today's tutorial, I think I used 10 of the 12 shades. The two I didn't use were these two here. I figured if I was going to use all the blues, y'all was going to have to forgive me for not using the oranges. And I didn't use the lightest green. The thing is, the shade I thought that would give me the most issues were these two blues. And they were beautiful. They were beautiful. Pastels, I'm not a fan of just simply because I have a deep complexion. Well, not necessarily a deep complexion. I have a melanated complexion, but hooded eyes. And so I like to have deep crease shades and deep outer V shades just to give me more depth and dimension. So to have this here, I was already looking at it like, honey, please tell me you could be a transition shade. Honey, I don't need no pale, light, pastel-y little, lid shade. If you're going to do that, make it neutral. I don't need a pastel blue. She built up. She was beautiful. You could see her. Loved her. This dark blue, although I'm going to say she's, in my opinion, much more cream to powder, she's fabulous. If you all remember, I'll leave that video linked right here for my Natasha Denona video. One of the main complaints I had about her matte formula is that she really likes those matte cream to powder formulas, and I'm really not. It's just not for me. It seems like those type of shadows are either extremely well or extremely terrible, and this is a beautiful formula. The only thing I can tell anybody who uses cream to matte powder, cream shadows, however they want to call them, is if you use natural hair brushes, you may want to be careful because there may be some staining. Consider the fact that just regular powder shadows can do it. Cream seems to absorb into the fibers a little more, so it may not be a permanent stain, but chances are, because I have to go in and wash these brushes today, more than likely in my next tutorial I'll let you know if they stained. But because these are my everyday brushes, I'm not really worried about that because I know that, the performance is going to be well. But the thing is, I'm looking at these shadows here and it's like, Torrence, you did not have any problem blending out any of these mattes, whether they were neutral or colorful. With the shimmers, I'm going to tell you, the metallic formula is beautiful with the brush. The full shadows, they went on with the brush, but I personally believe they will look better with a finger or with a silicone applicator. Those full shades to me are going to be Swallowtail, Beach Sands, Hummingbird, and I wouldn't say Fancy is one of those shades. It's more of a dual chrome. The others are just shimmers, but they are fabulous. When I look at my eyes, honey, I can see each and every color. It all stands out. It all looks beautiful. And it's like, Torrence, you didn't even use every color in this palette. So to know I can switch this up if I wanted to know I can go in and make it much more simple. If I just want one color in the crease, one color on the lid, I can do that. So if someone were to ask me, Torrence, would you recommend the Hummingbird Palette by Oden's Eye? Absolutely. I am telling you, this palette is stunning, and I honestly cannot wait to find out which palette you all are going to vote for to be next, because I don't mind doing a video for all three of these palettes because the formula is beautiful. They're collabs, which are my favorite forms of eyeshadows, so I am really ready to get into this. Another thing is, I don't think Artist Couture has come out with any new Diamond Glow powders, but because I know I have at least 8 of these, I'm going to have to start rotating these more because this color is nice and pretty, and you can see she's still beamy, honey. That ain't just like no soft ishy purple. I wonder that. You can tell it's that, but she not so blinded where if I'm looking straight forward, it gives you a weird vibe. It's not till I turn and you go, oh wait, look at that purple hue there. And she settled into the skin so nicely. With Lunar Beauty, gotta get me some more of these glosses. As far as glosses are concerned, he has my favorite compact, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite formula. It's just, I'm a gloss person, so I can never have enough. And this one is fabulous. The Winky Luck blushes, I'm trying to tell myself, Torrence, you don't need any more of these because I'm someone who really doesn't use cream blushes, but let me find out they got like a really hot pink shade and it's going down. But this shade is so natural, so beautiful. Once again, I'm wearing the shade Crown. I think that will probably be the most natural color on my tone. But baby, I'm about to hurry up and FaceTime somebody so they can see this look because I am feeling fabulous. I don't know how that hair came up there like this when it was down there. But I hope you all truly did enjoy today's look. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Also, please leave me a comment down below if you all went and grabbed either this palette or any palette in this collection. I'm telling you, Oden's Eye has a fabulous formula and I had no clue, so I am glad to know that now. And please, please, please make sure you all also head over to Tina's page. Make sure you leave a comment over there letting her know that I sent you. She don't know I exist yet, but maybe one day she will, because I'm telling y'all, this palette is fabulous. She gets to see this because, honey, I am getting my Hummingbird vibes. I am just looking at this like, yes, honey, the colors I'm seeing right here are colors that I see I can replicate here, and that's how a palette is supposed to be. I'm looking at my clock, and we is literally 3 minutes from midnight, so, baby, I got to take this off, get these brushes clean, because I still ain't cleaned my Halloween brushes, but y'all don't tell nobody that. But I've been blabbing long enough, so it's time to end this video. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.